My name is Chris and I work in the costume shop of Jamestown Settlement. Today I'm going to show you how we use some of the artifacts in our collection as documentation and inspiration for the clothing we reproduce for our staff in the outdoor areas. So come on inside. So let's take a quick virtual walk around our galleries at Jamestown Settlement. I just want to show you a few artifacts and images that we use as inspiration to build the historical clothing at our museum. Let's take a closer look at this portrait of Sir Walter Raleigh's son. We decided to reproduce this suit of clothes a few years ago for one of our 10-year-old models. We made the suit out of blue silk, slashed the silk, and then applied 40 yards of metallic lace to the suit. All this was done by hand as it would have been in the 17th century. And here we take a finished look at the suit of clothes on the model alongside the portrait of Sir Walter Raleigh's son. We may do a video on that suit of clothes at some point, but let's move on to the gallery and look for some more artifacts that we use as inspiration for our clothing. We've got hundreds and hundreds of artifacts in our museum that we build ideas and build documentation off of to use in our costume shop when reproducing clothing. It gives us continuity between what the visitors see in the gallery and what the visitors see in the outdoor areas. Even our armorers can take a look at original armor in our galleries and use that as documentation and inspiration. Let's stop here and take a closer look at this portrait of Pocahontas. She's wearing an unusual collar around her neck called a rebado. On one side of the collar is linen. On the other side, there's a wire backing to give it some form and some shape. You can see some details of the wire backing and how the collar is sewn to the wire backing to give it its form. This has been worn by a few interpreters at our museum in the past. Here's Samantha wearing one, and then Maya wearing the same one. So another example of how we use portraits in our galleries to build off of some of the clothing. Moving on away from this portrait of Pocahontas, we're going to go to the feature artifact that we're going to be talking about today. This is a plate that was, as our curators have identified, to being of Italian origin around the 1640s. And it shows a hunter on the ceramic plate, and he's got a really unusual set of clothes. And this is what we're going to be talking about today, the suit of clothes that we designed and built using this plate, this artifact, as inspiration. So now that we've seen the original artifact, let's go behind the scenes to the costume shop, and I'll show you what we built based off of this artifact. Well, now we're back in the costume shop behind the scenes at Jamestown Settlement, and this is the room where we make all of the historical clothing that you see out on site. In the near future, we'll do a YouTube video showing you exactly what we do behind the scenes here in the costume shop. But for today, all I'll say is please mind the mess. This is a working shop, and we've got many projects in progress, so we don't clean up very often in between those projects. So let's take a closer look at this suit of clothes that we reproduced using the artifact in our gallery as documentation and inspiration. Let's work from the top down as we analyze the plate and then we look at what we've reproduced. We can see that his headwear is a brown hat with yellow and green plumes. These plumes we dyed in the costume shop. They were originally off-white, and we dyed them using period dyes. So that's how we got the yellow and green. Just below his neckline, he's wearing some sort of a collar. We can interpret this one of two ways. It could be a falling band, like the one you see displayed on the mannequin right now, or it could be a ruff. Often when our interpreters wear this suit of clothes, they can choose between one or the other, and that's just another piece of interpretation that we've done in the costume shop here. His outer jacket is called a jerkin, and basically a jerkin is a sleeveless garment that's meant to wear over a doublet, and that jerkin is designed to protect the doublet. It acts as a middle layer between armor and the doublet originally. This reproduction we chose to make out of silk, and we've got, if you take a closer look, we've got glass buttons, and we have lots of slashing that goes in between. Now the slashing is done with a pair of set of chisels, like the ones you see here. And these chisels are very sharp, sort of like your wood chisels. We put the silk over a block of wood, and using a small mallet, we make these cuts or slashes in the silk. This serves no practical purpose. It doesn't make the garment fit better, it doesn't make it cooler, it doesn't make it wear a little bit better. All this is fashionable. I sort of liken it to when teenagers wear ripped jeans or ripped shirts. It's sort of the same thing. And again, this is going back to the 1640s that this plate is designed. And you can see the slashes that the artist drew in the plate match the slashes that we put into the jerkin. Under the jerkin, our hunter is wearing a blue doublet. This is a blue wool doublet that we've made. All of the visible stitching on the outside of all these garments is done by hand, and you can see all of the hand-sewn buttonholes into this doublet, and all of the details that went into sewing this together are done by hand. If we open up the inside of the doublet, we notice that there is a lacing band going across the waistline. This lacing band corresponds to a lacing band in the waistband of the breeches. And when the doublet is tied to the breeches, it acts like a single suit, almost like an infant's onesie or a jumpsuit. So the upper garment actually acts as suspenders or support for the lower garment. Moving down to his breeches, we see he's wearing a pair of Venetian style or Italian style breeches. He has brown and black stripes going across them. So we have hand sewn all of the black and brown stripes onto this garment. Below that, he's got a pair of knit garters, black stockings, and shoes. The suit of clothes was made in our costume shop. We made this a few years ago. The suit's been worn by a few different people since then. And now that you've seen some of the details of this suit and you've seen it on the mannequin, let's take a look at what the finished product looks like worn in action in our 17th century recreated fort. Okay, moving outside to our recreated James Fort. Here I am wearing the suit of clothes we've been talking about, also carrying one of our reproduction black powder muskets. If you have got any questions about what you've seen in the video or the suit of clothes or how we made it or how we researched it, leave a question down below. I'll be happy to respond to you. And if you want to see any other videos about historical clothing, let us know the things you're interested in, and we'll do our best to produce a video based on your comments and your questions. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look about how we take the artifacts and the images in our galleries and we use them to recreate some of the clothing you see in our outdoor areas. And while the tailors and seamstresses of our museum really enjoyed reproducing this suit of clothes, our gift shop actually reproduced the plate that's in our gallery. So this is a reproduction of the plate that you see in our gallery. And this is available in our online store. I'll leave a link in the description below in case you want to order one. But it's a pretty cool plate made just for Jamestown Settlement. And it's a quick way for somebody to own a little bit of a piece of history. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.